Mmm. 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 Look at my hand! It's so big! It's bigger than my face! Oh no! And now look at it! It's so small! I don't know what's happening with me!
Child, nothing is happening to your body.
Please send help! Please! My hands are bigger than my face!
It is a technique of the gods, and we are gonna learn it today.
Nah man, that's some crazy ass sorcery shit.
He's going crazy as usual.
Alright, foreshortening! Okay, so before I tell you the secrets of foreshortening and how to make your drawings look all pretty and have a lot of perspective, depth and foreshortening in them, we need to talk about an important topic related to foreshortening, which is called as focal length. Okay, so focal length is mainly used in photography. It is a photographic term, and that will help you to control the amount of foreshortening in your drawings. So pay attention. So the best way to explain focal length is by this. This is a Canon STM 18135mm, which I used to shoot all my videos from. Okay, so you'll see these numbers over here: 18, 24, 35, 50, 85 and 135. This is what is called as focal length, and these numbers reflect the amount of space that is between the sensor and the lens. Okay, so this lens over here, so 18 mm is something like this, like almost like a 2 centimeter, and then it goes more and more and more and more as you go towards 135. Now to give you a practical example of focal length, I'm gonna use myself and my hand as an example. So this is 18 mm, this is 24 mm, this is 35 mm, this is 50 mm, this is 85 mm, 135 mm. So as you can see in all of these examples, there is a difference in foreshortening. So the lower this number, the wider the focal length will be. So that results in a lot of foreshortening. Okay, something like this. I'm shooting this right now at maybe the same focal length as this lens, like 18 mm or something. Okay, so my hand is much bigger than my face, and the bigger the number, the narrower the focal length gets. So my hand will be much smaller than my face. Vary your focal length so that you will have a different effect, the desired effect that you need in your drawings. Alright, so what exactly is foreshortening? So objects which are closer to the camera appear bigger than the objects that are far away from the camera. So that is nothing but foreshortening. So they appear to be foreshortened. Why does it happen? As I explained before, it happens because of focal length. Now there are two main ways or methods of foreshortening. The first one is the coil method. The coil method is nothing but you just coil the object like this and then gradually move forward as it goes. This helps in visualize how the object is made of, because if you do not have experience with perspective and all those art fundamentals, it is very difficult to draw foreshortening or to draw objects without a guideline. So the coil method acts as a guideline. It helps in having proper proportions, having proper structure. This is probably the simplest method. It is messy, yes, but it is very simple. Anyone can use it. So these coils act as contour lines, and you can just do this with a lighter pencil, and then after you have drawn the structure or the shape of the object, you can just go on in ahead with a darker pencil to create the outline and then erase the coils that you have done. Okay, now the second method is the box and shape method. This is kind of difficult. It requires some knowledge of perspective and three-dimensionality, and shapes and all those art fundamentals, but this is very much cleaner and this gets the job done much faster. So as you can see, just draw with simple shapes. So for example, the upper arm and the forearm are just cylinders, and then you can just simplify the palm of the hand into a cube and the fingers into more cylinders. All right, so just use simple 3D geometric shapes. Yeah, okay, and then you can just go on ahead and add in the detail later on. Just warp and modify those shapes as you see fit. So yeah, and these contour lines help guide the shape and the proportions and the three-dimensionality. Okay, so these are the two methods which you can use to draw foreshortening, and you can just mix and match these methods. I personally do mix and match these methods. Just mix and match if you need to. Okay, that will be much more simpler. All right, so yeah. All right, so there are some things that you need to understand, that you need to keep in mind while foreshortening. Okay, foreshortening doesn't work the same as normal drawing. All right, because you're drawing literally in perspective, so the proportions change and some rules of proper drawing change. Okay, even some rules of perspective gets changed. All right, the first one is overlaps. So over here, as you can see, his upper arm, which I have highlighted in red, is hiding behind his forearm and his hand. So the forearm and the hand are overlapping the upper arm essentially. So you need to keep this in mind. You need to overlap stuff. Okay, even if the other stuff is not visible, you need to overlap it, because that is very important. That is what happens in foreshortening, and that overlap gives you the depth. Okay, gives you the perspective that you need in your drawings. Do not be scared of it, and just overlap, just express it. All right, yeah. And do not do this. I've seen so many beginner artists do this. They tend to draw the whole arm. Okay, even if it's overlapping, do not do this. Embrace those overlaps. Second thing to keep in mind is proportions. Proportions vary a lot while foreshortening. They just get wonky. Your lower leg will appear to be much bigger than your thigh. All right, so in this example, you can see the hind leg is much smaller than the leg that is in front. All right, and the hind foot is even smaller than the foot that is in front. Okay, and the lower leg, which is in front, is much bigger than the thigh. So this is what happens with proportions while foreshortening. Okay, they just get wonky, they just get stretched. All right, so the best way to tackle this problem is to just eyeball it. Okay, if it doesn't feel good, if it doesn't look good, then it's probably not drawn right. Okay, so then you go on and modify it, and yes, and use a reference that will make your life much easier. Now we are going to look at some examples of artists who does crazy levels of foreshortening. Okay, and the only person that comes to mind is this guy. This is a face of a madman. So look at his work. He does all these crazy foreshortening drawings. Look at this. Look at this. From Naruto, Pokemon, and all these anime. Okay, look at all this. Look at this shit. He does all these crazy Venusaur and Pikachu. Look at this crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Scissor. What's this? Pincer? Oh my god. He does all these crazy foreshortened drawings. Alright, and they look cool as fuck. Okay, so he's probably the only guy that I know. And yes, there are other manga artists. Like foreshortening stuff appears mostly in manga or anime like Demon Slayer and stuff. Okay, manga like Naruto, Dragon Ball, and all that stuff. Alright, so study from your favorite artists. God damn it, man, look at all this shit. Exceptional. So yeah, so study from these people. Alright, so analyze their work, see how they do it. Okay, and all of these people are using references. Okay, referencing is the most important thing. It makes your stuff much more easier to do. Okay, it makes your life much more easier you do not have to eyeball stuff here and there, and you do not have to make mistakes, and then you do not have to sit here drawing a pose for like 8 hours or something. Okay, so yeah, so the next thing is I am going to study this man right here and try to make a drawing like how he does in proper foreshortening, in a foreshortened way. So we'll see how it goes. So at first, as usual, started out with a reference and then a pose, then simple shapes, and then refined it, and then started adding detail finally. Okay, and I used both of the method, both of the foreshortening method, the foil method and the box method. Okay, so do not be restricted to only one method. Use what feels right to you. Okay, so yeah, you can just enjoy the rest of the drawing as I am doing it. And subscribe. So until next time, I'll see you there. Oh, look at my feet now. They are so much big than my face. They are so much huge feet pics.